Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to give a few attendees a few more minutes to join us. Just hang tight. We'll get started here shortly. For those of you just joining, we'll be getting started momentarily. We're just going to give everybody a few more minutes to hop on.
All right, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice for Pest Live. I'm Bryn Langford, and with me, as always, is Michael Wheelock. Today, we also have another special guest. We have Kayla Carroll. She'll be joining us today. If you have absolutely any questions, drop them in the box, and we'll answer them throughout the way.
Hey guys, thanks everybody for joining us. Boy, it's almost Valentine's Day. It's hard to believe the season is fast approaching. Bryn, hope you had a great weekend. I know we had a little football game going on.
We
Got to
did.
ask you, what was your favorite commercial?
Mine would have to be the Pepsi commercial with the polar bear realizing he picked Pepsi.
Yeah. Where he's laying on the couch because he's upset that he picked Pepsi. Yeah, that was a pretty fun one. Now, Kayla Carroll is joining us from our customer success team. She's going to be presenting here in a little bit, but I want to open it up to her. Kayla, what was your favorite commercial?
I didn't watch the entire game, but I did sign in long enough to see the Goodwill Dunkin' commercial, and then they sent out a promo code, so you got a free coffee. So that was kind of nice.
I watched that commercial. It's a real long one, but I love Goodwill Hunting, so that was a great commercial.
Yeah,
You know, you kind of stole mine on that, but I have to say, it's always hard to go wrong with the Budweiser commercials. If you didn't get a chance, it was almost a tearjerker this year. If you had a favorite commercial, please put it in the questions or the chat. We'd love to hear from everybody. If you're like me, you probably watched most of the game just for the commercials, because it wasn't much of a game. So, Brendan, what are we going to go over today?
So today, can you switch the slide, please?
Sure.
Thank you. So today we're going to be going over our call center reporting. We're going to be learning the difference between queue statistics, agent statistics, and call analytics, how to identify trends in call volume, wait times, and agent performance. We'll also be learning how to use reporting to pinpoint bottlenecks and service gaps. And then also we learn best practices for reviewing reports for your team.
Awesome. And just so everybody who was wondering, Eric Rosen, and Eric, it was great to see you in Dallas. I think I got to say hi to you a little bit. His Backstreet Boys, the karaoke Coinbase one, that was very popular. I think that was my daughter's favorite. Now, just to level set with everyone, if you have contact center, if you have ATS contact center with us today, this is not a session that's real applicable for you. So I don't want you to waste time. This is going to go through more of a entry level reporting. Now, We are going to go through contact center the next session, which I think is in 2 weeks, like on the 28th or something like that. Brandon will keep us honest. But Kayla's going to take us through native call center reporting in the phone system and what you can get out of the phone system. What she's talking about does require agents and supervisor level licenses, but here's a little teaser for you. If you want to see a little intro into your own data, most of your sales team here at Affiliated Technology Solutions can show you the results of your data. So don't feel like you necessarily have to buy something before seeing the results, but to get ongoing use, you may need to upgrade your licenses. So in the call center, as Brent talked about, we're going to look at queues, we're going to look at individual statistics, things like that. But Kayla, why don't you start us off by highlighting what we're seeing on this screen that's in front of us?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're looking at here, this is the dashboard on the on the supervisor portal. So what we see here in the upper left-hand corner is your call queues. You can click on any of those and you can see some additional data, which I'll get into, but you can see your active calls, your callers waiting, the wait time, and then your idle agents as well. Now, anytime you see a blue number there, like under CCC main, there's a number 2, that's clickable. So if you click that number 2, it's going to expand the call data so you can see who is on an active call and how long they've been on that call. Same with the callers waiting, the wait time, and then even the agents idle. Now, on this bar, this is also where you'll edit any of your agents. So if you need to remove or add someone to a queue, this is where it's done. And then if you have any type of routing, maybe where you're in a linear hunt routing, meaning it rings agent A, followed by agent B, followed by agent C, this is where you can make adjustments to that. Now, right
Trisha,
under
I see
that,
this statistics stats grid right here. Can you tell me about that, Kayla?
yeah, I was getting there. I was going to go top to bottom, but
Okay,
we'll certainly
no
go
worries.
that way. So what you're looking over here, what you're seeing over here, this is your stats grid. So anytime you click on a queue over here on the left, so if you click on the box where CCC main shows, it will adjust. So these are set statistics, calls waiting, average wait time, average handle time, your service level, your abandon rate, your call answered, and then your total call volume there. Those cannot be changed too much. You can change your service level agreement by clicking, I believe there's a settings button that is not list or that's not showing here. Maybe it's that grid, maybe it's that gear right there. But yeah, you can change your service level agreement and it will adjust a bit. But for the most part, what you have there is what you get.
So you mean, Kayla, I can adjust like, hey, I expect calls to be answered in this amount of time, this many calls waiting, and it's going to adjust. Do these colors change?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can set thresholds in there. So one thing that is important for me, if we have more than one call waiting in queue, I want that to change to red so that it's just a visual reminder that I should probably log in. So this is where you can do that. You can adjust those colors there.
You know, probably one of my favorite parts of this tab is it can be set up as we see down here in the lower right, where you can see the agent status and how long they've been on the status. So I can see that Stephanie's getting ready to probably come off a break. I can monitor that, but I can also see Stacy's down here in an other status, and we'll talk about those statuses here in a second. But you know, I may want to go check on Stacy, see, because she's been doing that for 2 hours. That's quite a bit of time, and that's a lot of lost productivity. So yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm going to kind of go back and forth, Kayla, here, but I see this Snap Analytics, and this grid is great for supervisor. But can I assume I can open this up to the whole center where everybody can see what's going on?
Yeah, you sure can. They're utilizing that Snap Analytics board. That's the official name of it. I just refer to it as a wall board. But from there, you can build anything that you want to share with your team. So I believe this was actually one that I built many years ago, and we projected it up on a very large TV in our call center so that everybody could see. So yeah, you can absolutely share these boards with anybody in your company. With these boards, what you're looking at is more real-time data. So how many calls are waiting, who's logged in and who's not. If you're looking for historical data, this probably isn't the best place for it, but it's a good visual throughout your day of what's happening in your call center.
And I'm assuming it can be customized.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's very simple. When you select that Snap Analytics board, you'll see the option right off the bat, just choose a card. And that's just the visual display on how you want to see your data. Once you select that card type, it's going to take you through the different options that you have as far as data endpoints, but all very simple to put together.
And the average wait time in the calls handled, I'm assuming that's just for the current day. Is that correct?
That's accurate. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Now, there are some time options that you can change. I have always just historically looked at it for same day rather than trying to go back. I think it can get kind of confusing when you try to review 24 hours in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a great way to even gamify in my center how many calls people are answering and offer rewards and things like that, because I can see, my call volumes by queue. I'm sure I can see call volumes by agent. I was right here in the middle here. I've got my agents listed out along with their average handle time and the ever dreaded missed calls. We love seeing zeros on that. So as Kayla mentioned, this is very customizable. Don't get overwhelmed by the thought of I have to go build this myself. We have a team of engineers behind the scenes that will manage this for you. So what we ask for you is to be able to document what you're looking for, and we will go create it for you. Absolutely. So Kayla, this is great about real time and seeing what happened today. It's pretty important for me to evaluate things like on a monthly basis, see how my team is performing, how my call volumes are doing year over year, things like that. I'm assuming that I can get some historical reports out of this tool.
Yeah, absolutely. On your supervisor dashboard, there is a button. It's called Reports. When you select that, you're going to be shown these 5 different reports here. And I believe we're going to go through them. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Yeah. So walk us through the Q stats and kind of what's important here and what I need to pay attention to here.
Yeah, absolutely. So on your QStat report, right at the top here, you can filter. So you've got your date options there. It's got a nice little visual graph so you can see how busy you were throughout the day and where your highs were and where your lows were. Personally, I pay more attention to the bottom here. What this shows is how each of our queues did throughout the day or throughout that time filter that you have there. What I feel is most important is our call volume, how many calls were handled, and then how many abandoned. What you're finding with abandoned is those are the callers that called in, sat in queue, and then hung up before speaking to somebody. So I really feel that that's a very important statistic to pay attention to, especially if you're looking at staffing up or staffing down. If you find that there's something that you need that is maybe not showing here, if you select that columns button right there, it's going to open up a whole view of different statistics that you can choose. And then, like I said on the previous dashboard, any number here in blue can be clicked and expanded upon so that you can then see the details of that call.
Yeah, so I think that's very good information. Now, one thing I should highlight here is next to all of these abbreviations, and sometimes you can see abbreviations on there, but there's an I button there. Kayla, what does that do for us?
Yeah, that's going to tell you exactly what that statistic is reading. So what's the description of that statistic?
Okay, so you're not just looking at a bunch of acronyms and have to get the dictionary out and figure out what all these mean. Now,
no, but Michael, no one uses the dictionary. We would just use ChatGPT at this point.
I'm showing my age. I'm showing my age. I still know the Dewey Decimal System. Yeah. So then I see we've got abandoned calls here. Now, when we were talking the other day, you mentioned to me that there's something called adjusted abandoned calls that they can look at as well. What's the difference between the two and why would I care?
Yeah, so your abandoned calls right there, just the abandoned will show any customer that hit your queue and hung up regardless of time. But that's not necessarily fair, right? Because sometimes customers may call in and quickly hang up. maybe a spam call, and you didn't have the option to truly answer that, or your agents didn't. So if you select columns, there is a field called adjusted abandoned calls, and that will show you any customer that stayed on the phone for 10 seconds or longer before disconnecting. So depending on how you run your business, that may be a little more fair to your agents. A little
Yeah,
more
and I know
doable.
I know abandoned calls are so important to our customers, especially around the new customer queue, right? My new prospects that are calling in. What options do we have to be more proactive on letting them know that information? Do we
Could you
have
repeat,
any?
could you repeat
Like,
that? I'm sorry.
like, can we email someone when the call is abandoned? Like, can we give the internal employee an alert, the management team, hey, you had an abandoned call? I think we can.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe we can. Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And so a lot of customers will set that up. It's built into the system. It's called an abandoned call alert. It's any caller that's getting past your greetings. It's going to then send you an alert that this caller was waiting in the new customer queue. We can set it up by queues, so you don't have to be overwhelmed if your existing customers are hanging up. But recently, we even enhanced that capability. If you have the ATS texting service, we rolled out a feature enhancement this spring that's called Abandoned Call Text Back. When a caller calls in, if they get past your greetings and they hang up, we want to be very proactive in reaching out to them. Coupling the texting service with us, we will actually send that caller a text message. The text message is going to be very generic. It's going to read something like, this is XYZ Pest Control. We missed your call. How can we help? That is by design. We want it to be very generic because we don't necessarily know if we have permission to market to that caller. So we're just offering to help them. Now, if they respond, Bob's your uncle, you can send whatever's appropriate back to them. But we find that a lot of our customers are closing a lot more business by having this turned on for their new customer queue. Okay.
Absolutely. And before you move on, I did just
Oh,
want to note
yeah.
that all of these reports can be emailed to you. So there's a button right there to email. So you don't have to go into the system every day and pull it. It's automated.
Oh, I love that. Friday or every Friday, I get my weekly report every day at 5 p.m. I get my report on how my team's doing. I can quickly look over that and see how the system is performing.
Absolutely.
Now, Kayla, we looked at the queues overall and the distribution overall, right? But I really want to compare my team's performance and see who is lacking. We know in the system there's different ways to set up routing. You can set up who's been off the phone the longest. You can set up a tree where it starts at the top and it goes down the list in a cascade and picks the next available person based off of their strengths, right? We can ring everybody. That's probably our most popular distribution method. But there's a challenge with that. The challenge is someone can sit back in the back, hear everybody's phone ringing, and know that somebody else is going to grab it. They're not always first to pick it up. How do I identify who those people are? I'm assuming I can use my agent reports to do that, my agent stats.
Yeah, absolutely. So under your agent stat report, this is where you'll see how your agents did, how they performed for the day. So up here at the top, you can filter the different queues. So if you only want to pay attention to your customer service queues, you can do that. But here, same basic premise. You've got the calls handled, you've got average talk time, so on and so forth. If you select that I, it will tell you what the statistic is. You can select the drop down there and it will offer additional resource or offer additional statistics. All of them are clickable, but this is where I would go in that scenario, Michael. I would want to make sure that all of my agents are taking around the same number of calls. Missed calls is going to be very important because obviously nobody wants missed calls, but these are when the phone rings to the agent and they didn't answer. Either it timed out or they select the reject button. But one thing to note about missed calls, if you're using a ring all call queue, meaning your call comes in and it rings everybody at the same time, well, everybody except one person will have a missed call. So it doesn't factor in. You won't see that there. You'll just see 0 if you're using a ring all.
Absolutely. Now, those columns on the right, this is heavy acronyms. This is where I'd be getting out my dictionary or my cheat sheet if I didn't hover over the information button there. What are those, what does owns mean?
Those are your outbound calls. So those are the answered. And those, I think it says, average. I can't really see it very well. It's a
Yeah,
little
you're
blurry.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but that is your average talk time on your outbound calls.
Awesome. But I'm assuming that you can pick like from those columns, like before you mentioned, that I can pick different columns. Maybe there's outbound attempts versus outbound answered. And guys, we don't necessarily know if it's a human picking up on the other side, but we know that your employee is letting the phone at least ring to the level that something is picking up. Now, Angela asked in the questions, does this data include when someone's in do not disturb, DND, right? Well, I think that's important for us to track. So what is this agent availability report, and how do customers use it?
Yeah, so this agent availability report will show you the times that your agents are available on the phone. So this is all being captured by how they're logging in and out. So everything green there means that they are logged into the system and they are available for a call. Every other color means they are not available for a call. So you'll see lunch there, you'll see break, you'll see other, and those are select custom codes that they will pick from a dropdown. But sometimes your agents don't select a code. Sometimes they'll just simply click out of the web phone and log out. Or I believe DND will fall under that as well, do not disturb. If you see that light red there that just says unavailable, that just means that the customer just X'd out of the web phone. So you really don't know why that person wasn't available. So that's a problem. This report, we can't see it here, but it will summarize all of the times that your agents were logged in, not only logged in, but logged in and available as well. So what really should happen if they're using the system correctly is you should see throughout the day that they're logged in for 8 hours, let's just say, available for 6 hours, at lunch for 1 hour. You should very clearly be able to see that based on how they're logging in and out of the system.
I love how this tracks minute by minute, second by second. I'm kind of picking on Milo here because he's got a lot of he or she has a lot of non-productive time, I'll call it. And I want to highlight right here in front of the break because I see that from time to time. It's not uncommon for agents. I grew up running call centers. Kayla did as well. Bren will get you inducted into them, don't worry. But that agents are humans as well. And they like to kind of try to stress the system and things like that. So if you're seeing a situation where right before a break, someone is going offline on an other status, I personally really have to question that, especially if their call volumes are low. And I have to go ask that employee, were you genuinely working on something, or were you you really wanted to make sure that you got to break on time today and you didn't want to take another call that might have carried you forward a little beyond your break? That really hurts your scheduling when they do that, because now breaks aren't happening necessarily at a assigned time, or customers really aren't getting addressed as quickly as they can. So let's look at Lorraine up here, right? She went to lunch and then she went unavailable for, and we're looking at a screenshot here, so I can't hover over it, but that looks like she took a longer lunch to me than she probably was entitled to. And so that goes to that whole will versus skill that we all deal with employees. If it's a skill issue, I can definitely train you and give you the tools to succeed. But if you don't have the will to do it, we've got to plan for that. Now, marketing kind of comes into play in these reports. And many of us pay external marketing companies to host public-facing telephone numbers. Could be a Google local services, my Yelp ads, my different marketing campaigns, even yard signs out there. They all go to the marketing company, and the marketing company just forwards to our main business number. To us, it looks like just another call coming in, right? I'm really dependent and trusting the marketing company that the statistics they're giving me are accurate. Well, there's a simple way to do a sanity check, and it doesn't cost much money. In fact, to add secondary numbers to the phone system, it's just $1 a month. I can get a hidden number, the public never sees it, but I give that to the marketing company. They then forward based off of the campaign. This one came from Google Local Services, forward it to 1122. This one came from Yelp, forward it to 1123. This one from my yard sign campaign, 1124. Now I can quickly do a sanity check in the phone system to see whether the marketing campaigns are performing like the marketing company is telling me, or is there some fudging going on, right? Your marketing spend is vital to your business, and the more visibility you have around that, the more better decisions you can make. I should say it in that way. Now you'll notice I get very similar statistics off of this from my abandoned calls and queue callbacks. We haven't even talked about what a queue callback is. Kayla, you mind walking us through that?
No, I don't mind at all. So what that is, it's an option in your auto attendant that allows the customer to hold their place in queue while hanging up. So once it's their turn, the phone will dial them, and then they'll end up coming right back into your office when someone becomes available.
Absolutely. So I love that, because the employee, when they pick up the phone, they hear you have a queue callback or you have a callback, press 1 to accept. They press 1, it launches the outbound call to the customer. The customer hasn't been waiting 10 minutes. I see that a lot with the current customer queues versus new customer queues. It allows me to even out my distribution of work throughout the day without impacting my service levels as much. So I think the combination of those two capabilities are very powerful, right? Now, there's something that we don't highlight a lot, which I want to talk about, that comes with these modules, and that is call dispositions. So we just talked about the call source and being able to track the call source from calls. But what was the call result? Now, dispositions will handle that for you. At the end of the call, your employee will get a pop-up on their screen, and they can select what the call was about. They can even, so let's say it was a lead coming in, they can even select, it was a current customer lead, new customer lead. Now, these fields are customizable, so you can pick and choose what you want to report on with this, and then you can get reports on call result. Now, let's be very transparent and candid. I cannot force your employees to use this tool. They can skip this and bypass and take their next call without inputting anything in. If I add another field in here, they're going to select other for everything. It's just human nature. The easiest path for water to flow is downhill, and that's what they're going to pick. Many of our customers have started with this capability, but then they've taken advantage of some of the AI tools that we've talked about, like Smart Data Plus and X-Ray and things of that nature, where they're getting every call analyzed, and then they get a true report using AI. Remember, AI doesn't have any friends in the office. It doesn't have anybody that it doesn't like. It's fair on its reporting. It's consistent on its reporting. And so if you're looking at dispositions, then the dispositions, take it with a grain of salt and know that it's a great place to start. It's a freebie that we include with this. Craig asks, where can he run the disposition report? You're going to find that in the custom reports module. So it's a custom report that we built outside of the phone system for you to have visibility. Craig, you do need to have the disposition set up, but work with our support team if you have the call center agent licenses and the call center supervisor license, because it's an entitlement. You do need those to access these reports that we're showing you today. Just a quick housekeeping. Jason asked if we're going to get a recording of the webinar. Absolutely, we're going to send that out. No problem. Morgan, you asked what's the report name for the report you were showing earlier. Which report? We showed the agent statistics, we showed the queue statistics, we showed the dial number statistics, and the agent availability. Depends on which one you're talking about, but they're all part of the call center reporting module. Definitely we'll put an email. Is this whole thing just one report? It's one module, it's multiple reports. As Kayla mentioned, you get access to 5 reports.
They're all in the same area though. From your supervisor page, if you just select reports, you'll see all of these tabs right here.
Now, Ashley asked a question earlier, and Ashley, I haven't been ignoring you, so don't feel ignored here. But she asked about the service level report, Kayla, and her big question was around. Hang on, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Is there a way to adjust service level? Oh, is around the adjusted abandoned calls versus abandoned calls. And the level of customization with this module. Can the service level be set up to just factor in adjusted abandoned calls that hang up after 10 seconds, or is it going to be all calls that hang up? I believe the answer, Ashley, is it's all calls. Now, in the next session, we're going to go through Contact Center that has a lot more flexibility around the reports. So Ashley, if that's important to you, you may come to the next session on Contact Center, which we'll talk about here in a second, but it'll allow you a lot more flexibility around these reports, okay? So I am going through, I think we have, Connect First. Almost forgot about it. With this module, you also get a function called Connect First or First Connect, or I always mess it up. Kayla, keep me honest. What's the true name? Is it Connect First or First Connect?
It's correct
Okay.
there. Yep, Connect First.
Awesome. So Connect First, just like it describes, is a function that the goal is to get you to talk to that lead first before your competition, okay? We give you a little JavaScript that you put on your website behind your Contact Me Now form, okay? Our team gives you the script, your web team then loads it behind this form. When a prospect submits this form, instead of just going to your email like it does today, the system can be configured using that callback feature that Kayla walked us through a few minutes ago to actually proactively reach out to that prospect. So it is a callback. If all your agents are on the phone, it's not going to bother them. It's going to place that call in queue. So they fill out the form online. The call gets placed into queue, and when an agent is available, you are the first one to reach out to them. It is a human talking to them, and the whole goal there is that you're on top of the lead, you're getting to the lead first, and you're closing more leads. All right. So we've been talking through a lot of things. Morgan, definitely reach out to us on the Hello at Voice for Pests to go through this in more detail. I'm not sure if you were on the beginning of the call, but we can actually give you a preview of your own data for the reports that we showed today without subscribing to any additional licenses. We do that as a courtesy so that you can see the value in it. I do want to take a second to highlight that our next session, Bryn, what is the date on that?
February 25th.
February 25th. Okay, so we're past Valentine's Day at that point. I'm probably broke. I probably bought the wrong thing for my wife. I probably had to go buy jewelry after that. I should just go buy it from the beginning, right? No, I think
Yep.
this year she's getting for the ladies on the call, a Consuela bag. Don't ask me, but it's some high-end designer bag. Remember, Brent's whole goal of New Year's was to spend more money, so maybe she'll go buy one. And so we will on that call be covering the contact center. The contact center is going to offer you more flexibility on reporting, more customization around the reports. So Ashley, like you were looking for, hey, can I just factor in calls that hang up after 10 seconds on my service levels? It's going to be a much better tool for that level of customization. But it's also going to give your agents a single pane of glass to handle voice calls, SMS interactions, web chat, email, and much more. So team, I encourage you to join us on the 25th for that call to see what the gold level, the platinum level of call distributions and communications is with us. With that, I think we've addressed everything. Eric, I see your last question. We will definitely reach out to you. Team, if you have any other questions, we'll hang on for a few minutes. Kayla, I want to say thank you for joining us today. It was wonderful seeing you. For those that don't know, Kayla's been a little sick. She sounds great today, so glad you're
Thank you.
feeling better. Bren, as always, great chatting with you. Team, appreciate your time, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, everyone.